Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. So we're going to continue with the book of Exodus, and it says here, now we're going to continue after we left off in Genesis. The Israelites, they were in Egypt and all was well with them and everything was great. But we see Joseph died and all his brothers did as well. And all that generation did. So it was generations after, at least several generations after. It says in Genesis 1:8, it says, arose a new king over Egypt. He knew nothing about Joseph. And he said to his people, look, the descendants of Israel have become too numerous and powerful. And he was worried that they would take over the land, or they would outnumber the Egyptians. So he wanted to do something about it. So he tried to oppress the Israelites. But it says here in Exodus 1:12, the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more they multiplied and expanded. So the Egyptians began to hate the Israelites because they were so prosperous in the land. And you know, it says what goes around and comes around, and it might not just be in our generation, because Joseph's brothers hated him for being the favorite of Jacob. And now the Israelites were being hated by Egypt. And they just kept growing, and amongst their oppression by the Egyptians, nothing was able to stop them. The Egyptian king even told the Hebrew midwives to kill all the males that were born. And the midwives, they didn't do that, and they told, well, the Hebrew women are different than the Egyptian women, and the babies are different, and they're not going to die as quickly. So the midwives are actually the unsung heroes of this here, because they kept faith in our wonderful Creator, and they didn't listen to the Egyptian kings, regardless of what could have happened to them. So they are really the unsung heroes here. But we looked at what happened now. Enters probably one of the most popular, important people of all of Scriptures, Moses. We looked when Moses was born, and the midwives were killing or told to kill all the males. One lady had a baby, an Israelite had a baby, and what she did was, after that baby was weaned a little, she put that baby, she couldn't hide him anymore, so she put that baby in a basket and put him in the river and prayed that, you know, he would be okay. Well, so have it, the Egyptian king's daughter found the baby and took the baby and ended up getting one of the Israelite women to continue weaning the baby, and it was Moses' mother. How amazing is that? So Moses grows up in a castle or in a big mansion, a castle, whatever we want to call it, with the Egyptians, and then he ends up seeing his own people being oppressed, so he kills an Egyptian, but then he gets run out of his own land because the Israelite says, what, are you going to kill us if we don't listen to you the way you killed that Egyptian? So they found out about it, so he left. And we see something very interesting. We see Joseph, who was raised in the desert, to go and become a leader in a castle. And then we see Moses, who was raised in a castle, to go and become a leader in the desert. Well, after Moses left, you know, he heard his people being oppressed so much, but there's not much he could have done. He got driven out, he left, and the Egyptians wanted to kill him for killing them, for oppressing the Israelites, until everything changed. When Moses was near a bush, and the bush started burning, and the bush started talking to him, and you know, he was told to take his sandals off, he's on holy ground. And that was the beginning of the Exodus out of Egypt, back into the promised land, the land that was promised to the forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you know, Yahweh said to Moses, you know, I am who I am, and this is what you will do. But Moses was like all of us. He didn't want to go at first. He said, not me, please send somebody else. You know, the second time, oh no, but then he got wise and he said, okay, I will go and I will do this. So what are we going to do when we get called to go? Are we going to go, or are we going to stand behind? But here is the wonderful power of the Almighty. It says here in Exodus 5:23, Moses was complaining, saying, for ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak your name, he has dealt terribly with these people, and you haven't rescued your people at all. And that's all that our wonderful, mighty, Creator had to hear. And this is so powerful, the significance of this week's reading, and I want everyone to understand this. We're going to be saying this over and over again in the book of Exodus. In Exodus 6:1 it says, a wonderful Creator said to Moses, "Now you will see what I'm going to do to Pharaoh. With a mighty hand he will send them off. With force he will drive them from the land. You will see what I'm going to do." You know, we look at things in our own time and we say things need to get done right away. They need to get done now. You know, I know a lot of people that are sick and they complain, oh, what good is it to pray if I'm not being healed? Or if I'm sick in the first place, what good is it being an obedient person if I'm just going to get sick? But he has his timing. He has his timing and he knows all things. And he goes and he says, now you will see what I will do. Not before, not in the future, but right now it'll be shown. And we need to remember that. We need to ask him to show us his timing of things. And we have to slow down and be patient and wait for him. But when he speaks, we got to get up and go. What are we waiting for? We got to get up and go. So we have to basically find out his timetable. And how do we do that? We study the Torah and we pray and he will guide us. That's what we have to do, everybody. All right, this is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. If you have any comments or questions, post them below the video. Thank you for checking us out. And if you're interested in any health videos, just check out the link at the top of the website on healthwatchman.com and just look videos, health, and you can check those out. But I thank you so much for watching. I pray you have a great Shabbat this coming week. Please get those questions below. Until then, everybody, thanks for watching and shalom, shalom.
Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.